So let's take a look back to 4:30 yesterday afternoon. The sun was shining, 63 cars on the grid, 13 manufacturers and 221 drivers, all looking forward to the action ahead. And at the start of the race, the Aston Martin on pole position lost out because René Rast put the number 2 Audi into the lead of the race. The number 7 Bentley had to start from pit lane, was stone last. At the end of lap 1, one of the pre-race favourites, the number 1 Audi, had to serve a 3-minute stop-and-go penalty. That affected its chances far more than these cars that lost time after first lap clashes, coming in for repairs. As you can see, looking out around the circuit, there was plenty to be watching. But bit by bit, the number 2 Audi pulled clear with the 62 Aston Martin right under its tail. And just as soon as the 62 took the lead, it was a full course yellow because the 89 Mercedes put into the barriers by Philippe Gio. He was fine, but this was a chance for the teams to do their organised, orchestrated choreography of their pit stops. There were winners and losers according to when they pitted under the full course yellow period. And here's a loser, unfortunately for the SMP Racing. Ferrari clattered up the back into Les Coubs while in about 6th place in a gaggle of cars. That cost it dear, not as dearly as the Oman Racing team felt this particular hit. He was fine, the car was not. Track had to be cleaned up, and one of many shuffles under full course yellows put the number 8 Bentley into the lead of the race, and then a little clash, well, quite a big clash really, the 63 Lamborghini clattering into the back of Ben Barnicoat's McLaren, leading to repairs for both. In fact, 2 visits to the pits for the 58 McLaren and a further 30-second stop and go in the pits for the 63 Lamborghini. It had worked its way up to 3rd place, and that really put it down the order. Problems, unfortunately, for the number 14 Lexus. As you can see, not enough rubber on that tyre. For Stefano Ortelli, he could see there was going to be a delay, but when he went to go out and play. And then a wheel went missing on the number 17 Audi from Team WRT, and Stuart Leonard could not get it back up the hill, had to pull off the circuit and out of the race. How's that for a bit of super slow-mo action? One of the Bentleys pulling away from a pit stop. This isn't slow-mo action, this is flat-out action, and that is Jules Simkowiak getting it very wrong in a big, scary moment out of Blanchimont. But as evening turned into night, the hot air balloon puffed and lit up at La Source, out on the track with the light falling. It wasn't the time to find a tyre carcass out on the circuit. Even under a blood-red moon, it was hard to see in the back past the track. Very sadly, we lost Rubens Barrichello from the race. His Stracker Mercedes coming limping in to retire to the pits. But one of the Mercedes that was going well was the number 4 car, particularly with Lucas Stoltz at the wheel for Black Falcon Motorsport. More pit stop time, this time the Team Parker Racing Bentley coming into a halt right at the sharp end of the field. The 98 Rover Racing BMW in the mix, and as we approached midnight, the number 8 Bentley suddenly hit problems. This was a car that was running right at the sharp end of the field, and you could see the strain on the face of Maxime Soulet. As night went on, there were spinners and a little flame out there for Stefano Ortelli. He was okay, but the car was out of the race. That was the 114 Lexus, over and out. Pit stops can be perfect, and other times things just don't go quite right. But of course, the official's always watching to check the right number of mechanics working on each of those cars. Matthew Wilson up on the M Sport Bentley pit wall could spot there was a problem in the garage and was hoping and urging the car to go out. We had a 2-hour stop under a red flag in the night after an incident up at Eau Rouge. Once the racing got underway, there were more spinners driving, pushing too hard, too soon on cold tyres. And one car that took a massive hit, it was Jules Simkowiak again, and that was the end of the number 90 Mercedes. Jules was fine, the car was not. But night turned to dawn, dawn turned to day. Still the problems came, as you can see, front left corner on the Groupe National, number 67 Lamborghini limping its way back, also limping into the pits. The car that started from pole, little damage up the back, a flash fire for the number 22 Nissan in the pits, and then the 911 if you will, was given punishment for spinning the Attempto Racing Audi at the top of the hill. Chris Harris having to limp in, having been clattered up the rear, losing the rear wing on his AM-class McLaren. What happened at this point in the race? It was the arrival of the BMWs picking themselves up the order. That was Philippe Eng on the charge, and then 117 Porsche clipped the back of the number 111 Ors Motorsport Audi. The number 8 Bentley vaulted over the top of 2 of them, clattering into both. So big repairs for Soucek's car. That was done in 10 minutes. Much longer repairs were going to be needed for the Cous 117 Porsche, and in fact after a while they looked at it and decided it may not be reparable. They still pressed on, they fixed the front of the car, working hard on the back. But with 10 minutes done in the garage, big applause all around. You can see the number 8 Bentley had been at the front end of the race, fallen into 40th, but it was back in the race. They could even laugh. They got away with it this time, but unfortunately the repairs at the back of the 117 Porsche proved too much. There's Timo Bernhard, the team boss and racer, but just as he was patting his teammates on the back, the car that had been fighting along with it, the number 8 Bentley, trickled to a halt just after one outlap. And Andy Soucek, distraught, parked it at the bottom of the hill just before Eau Rouge. No such problems, however, for the Blancpain Motorsport team. They were pushing and pushing. Right in the mix, still at this point, was the number 7 Bentley, the car that started stone last, but then hub failure at the rear corner of that car was too much, and that really dropped it down the order. Then it was racing in and out of the pits. That was a race for position, and the 99 BMW did just enough. Now here was a pivotal moment in the race. The number 29 Land Motorsport Audi, trying to keep out of the way of two back markers, took a bit of a shortcut through the chicane. We all thought that was probably okay, but they got a 10-second penalty for their next pit stop. It dropped them down to 4th place. Great pace was shown by the car that started on pole, the 62 Aston Martin, but then it hit trouble. You can see it being pulled into the garage. Oh, and scary moments out around the circuit. The number 25 Audi right in the mix in 3rd place. It nearly encountered a spot of problem. Orchestrated pit stop under full course yellow for both the 34 race-leading BMW and the 99 car that was giving chase. It was all about getting it up on the jacks, getting the pit stop done and going out, not having an offence in the pit lane. Alexander Sims biting his nails, looking at all the data he could find, but the immutable fact was the Walkenhorst car was getting away, sitting on about a lead of a dozen seconds. In they came again under full course yellow. On went the tyres, they played their jokers, and into the final stint of the race, Henry Walkenhorst, team owner, with the spectacles in the middle. He couldn't dare to believe, but his car, Philippe Eng, doing a triple stint, was heading to victory, sitting about 12 seconds clear of the chasing Alexander Sims, and then coming around for the final time. There is the checkered flag, the flags waved by the teams, and the tears of delight for Henry Walkenhorst. Alexander Sims gracious in defeat, congratulating that man there, Philippe Eng, one of the winners this year at the Spa 24 Hours, along with his teammates for the 34 BMW crew, Tom Blomqvist and Christian Cronjes.